Hello everybody and welcome to the Thursday edition of Video Clips, and it is my pleasure to introduce to you, if you have not already met this young lady, as she's been teaching cooking classes and working with many of our members. This is Julie Gardner. She's a registered dietitian and she works at Wellness Forum Health, and she's one of those people who's so versatile because she's so knowledgeable about good nutrition and good health. And so one of the things that I thought would be sort of fun for me and for you is to hear from different people once in a while on Video Clips. So this edition of Thursday Video Clips is actually going to be delivered by Julie. And you'll probably see more of her in coming months. She'll be doing more of this kind of thing. So I'm going to turn this over to Julie Gardner, and she's going to talk to you about news and health for Thursday.
Great. Well, thank you all for joining me today. I wanted to share with you two articles that I found really interesting, actually that were published in the Journal of the Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics. So usually that magazine I just get and kind of page through and don't really see anything of interest, but these two articles caught my eye because they both highlighted the benefits of eating vegetarian or plant-based diets. So the first one I wanted to talk to you about was actually done by Dr. Neil Barnard, and I know we're all familiar with his work. And I was excited to see him actually published in this journal. So he conducted a recent study reviewing the effects of vegetarian diets on body weight. So in the past, there's been a lot of observational studies on vegetarian diets, and they basically just found that vegetarians usually have lower body weights. So in the current study, they did a review, and they were aiming to identify the results from clinical trials that used vegetarian or vegan diets as an intervention, and that also measured the weight loss from the prescription of these diets, independent of confounding effects like exercise or caloric deficit. So they searched the published scientific literature, and they included clinical trials in adults in which vegetarian diets, which was defined as excluding meat, poultry, or fish, and fish that is, or vegan diets, which is defined as excluding animal-derived food products. And these were used as the intervention, lasting for at least 4 weeks, and they measured changes in body weight. So they found 15 unique studies that met this criteria, and they found that the prescription of vegetarian or vegan diets led to the mean weight reduction of about 3.5 kilograms, which is about 7.5 pounds, to about 4.6 kilograms, which would be about 10 pounds. And this is similar to the weight loss we see with our patients. Over a duration of 4 weeks, that would be about 2 to 3 pounds a week. So that was great. I was very excited to see this reported there. So some of the factors that they found that led to greater weight loss were, in general, a baseline of a higher body weight, smaller percentages of women participants, apparently they didn't fare as well, older participant age, so the older the people were, the better they did, longer intervention duration, of course, if you're going to do it for longer, hopefully it works well, and then also the studies that had weight loss as a specific goal. So I think, yeah, that is great to have a goal when you're trying to lose weight. So obviously they would have better results. Something interesting I found is that they didn't find a significant difference between, in the weight loss, between the diets that were just ovo-lacto vegetarians, which would be vegetarians that eat eggs and dairy, compared to the vegan diets. But upon further inspection here, I found that there was actually only 3 studies that used the ovo-lacto vegetarian diets, and within these diets, they really only ate small amounts of dairy products and eggs. So this could account for the diets having similar effects. So at the end, the researchers they suggest 2 mechanisms that account for the weight loss, and first would be the fiber content of plant-based diets. That is often accompanied by a low-fat content, which reduces the overall energy density of the diet compared with an omnivorous diet. So this would in turn reduce your energy intake and lead to weight loss. In addition, they state that there is some evidence that suggests that a low-fat plant-based diet can increase your postprandial energy intake, or energy expenditure, meaning that more energy is burned after eating a plant-based meal. I found this very interesting as well. They also state that the acceptance of vegetarian and vegan diets has been shown to be similar to that of other therapeutic diets that are omnivorous. So this piece of information I found interesting as well, because I think a lot of times there's a stereotype in healthcare that patients just won't eat vegetarian or vegan food, and it seems to be that this is obviously not the case, and that people are willing to eat vegetarian or vegan food. So in conclusion here, I just want to say the information presented in this review is significant, and I think clinicians really need to start taking advantage of the consistent evidence that vegetarian and vegan diets do lead to weight loss. And by emphasizing this importance of plant-based eating, they can really start arming their patients for success. All right, so the next study I want to talk to you about is actually a position paper that the Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics published recently on vegetarian diets. And I wanted to share with you first just a summary statement of what they covered in the paper. So here it goes. Vegetarian diets may provide health benefits in the prevention and treatment of certain health conditions, including atherosclerosis, type 2 diabetes, hypertension, and obesity. Well-designed vegetarian diets meet current nutrient recommendations and are appropriate for all stages of the life cycle, including pregnancy, lactation, infancy, childhood, and adolescence. And I just found this statement just blew me away. I was so excited to read that in the journal, that they're finally starting to recognize the importance and just the health benefits of following a plant-based diet. However, they also recognize that not all plant-based diets are equal in health benefits, and they say simply avoiding meat, dairy, or eggs does not guarantee adequate nutrition, and individuals describing themselves as vegetarians may not be eating healthfully. This sounds familiar. So this is very consistent with our views on diet. It's easy to eat a junk food vegan diet, and that's just filling your diet with high-fat processed foods, and that's really not going to get you anywhere. This style of eating does not lead to positive health outcomes and can actually be just as detrimental to health as following a standard American diet. And we see this all the time in our office. People come in thinking they're eating a vegan diet, and really they're just eating lots of processed, high-fat foods, and they wonder why they're not feeling well. So. Another thing I wanted to highlight from the paper is that they recognize the growing number of vegetarians in the United States. They state that a recent poll revealed that 47% of Americans eat at least one vegetarian meal per week, and also that nearly half to three-fourths of vegetarians and vegans polled seek healthier whole food options in restaurants. And I think this is evident in our restaurants today. I mean, you can go into almost any place and they'll prepare you a good low-fat vegan meal. Heck, even Wendy's has a veggie burger on the menu now, so really you can eat anywhere on a vegan diet, and it is amazing. So another topic I wanted to cover is they talk about potential deficiencies that can occur with vegetarian diets, although they do emphasize that there are tremendous advantages toward prevention of chronic health conditions by adhering to a vegetarian diet. And further, they affirm that nutrient deficiencies are not the main cause of mortality and morbidity in the United States or in any Western society. And that is so true. We are not a society that's suffering from deficiency. We're suffering from overindulgence. So the Academy recommends that registered dietitians, and this is something I do not agree with, but they recommend that dietitians assess biochemical levels of protein, fatty acids, iron, zinc, calcium, vitamin D, and B12, and then recommend a supplement when necessary. And this is just a very reductionist approach, as supplements do not contain the necessary components found in whole foods that really assist in the proper metabolism of nutrients. Isolated nutrients in pills cannot and do not function in the same way as nutrients consumed in foods. Supplements should not be used in place of a program of dietary excellence, and this is an idea that you've probably heard before, but just to reiterate here, obviously supplements can mitigate symptoms and positively influence biomarkers, but this does not mean that they positively affect long-term health outcomes. And that's really what I think we're all going for, is living longer, not living till next Friday. So, furthermore, assessing biochemical levels of certain nutrients is inaccurate and findings are often useless. Many practitioners recommend nutrient level testing because tests generally show that individuals are deficient in several antioxidants or minerals. And this just justifies the sale of these isolated nutrients to the client. I prefer to look at really just the overall food intake and make changes to the diet in order to improve health. Then, not only will certain levels of different nutrients that we generally look for improve, but also those that we don't always look for and pay less attention to. And just to finish off this topic here, there's very little evidence to support massive testing and supplementation for the general public as a means for addressing our weight and health issues. And in most cases, it is possible to meet all of these nutrient needs with a well-designed plant-based diet. So I just wanted to emphasize that point. I am not one to support supplementation or nutrient testing, and that's part of the paper here that I really did not agree with. So let's move on. The position paper did, however, highlight the therapeutic effects of plant-based diets in the treatment of obesity, cardiovascular disease, diabetes, and cancer. Vegetarian diets have been found effective at weight reduction for obesity in both short-term and long-term studies, as well as performing better than alternative omnivorous diets, which I thought was awesome that they stated that. They also highlighted an article with evidence from Dean Ornish's research and also Dr. Esselstyn's research on cardiovascular disease. And they stated that low-fat vegan and vegetarian diets combined with other lifestyle factors, including not smoking and weight reduction, have been shown to reverse atherosclerosis. And we all know this because we're all familiar with Esselstyn's research and Dean Ornish's, but I was very excited to see this posted here in their position paper. And when it comes to diabetes, the article reports that there's a nearly 1/2 risk reduction in vegetarians versus non-vegetarians. In its review on cancer, the Academy provides evidence to show a lower overall cancer risk in vegetarians compared to non-vegetarians, including a meta-analysis study that showed a 29% statistically significant reduction in cancer incidence. So we all know plant-based diets, good for your health and good at reversing disease, and it's just great to see that here in the article. The Academy also, however, reviewed evidence on osteoporosis and claims that vegetarians, especially vegans, have lower bone mineral density as compared to non-vegetarians. And this is something that I just wanted to point out here. Everybody loses bone mineral density as you age. It's a normal part of aging, and it's easy to cherry pick evidence and just place it in here to support the ideas that you have, and I think that's what they may have done here. So individuals seeking to really retain bone mineral density need to practice habits that lead to that. So practice dietary excellence, follow a well-designed plant-based diet, practice habits that reduce calcium drain, so eat an alkaline diet like the one we recommend, stop smoking, reduce your animal protein intake, and stop drinking soft drinks. Pretty easy, right? I recommend that you get enough sunlight to support vitamin D production, and also exercise to stimulate the activity of osteoblasts and osteoclasts. This is the way that you build and retain bone mineral density, not by taking supplements of calcium and vitamin D, which they recommend in this article. So lastly, I just wanted to focus on the paper focuses on the detrimental effects of the omnivorous diet on the environment in comparison to vegetarian diets. And the Academy quoted the Food and Agricultural Organization speaking on the effects of the livestock sector on the environment as one of the top 2 or 3 most significant contributors to the most serious environmental problems at every scale from local to global. Furthermore, the Environmental Protection Agency accounts that 70% of all water pollution in rivers and lakes in the United States is a result of pollution from animal farms. So, as we all know, plant-based diets protect the environment. Great reason to follow them. And I was glad that they highlighted that here in the article. So just in conclusion here, the Academy's position paper on vegetarian diets is a step in the right direction, acknowledging the scientific evidence that vegetarian diets are beneficial at preventing and treating disease, nutritionally adequate for all stages of life, and environmentally protective. This position paper suggests that the Academy is becoming more aware and accepting of the growing body of evidence to support the positive health effects of a plant-based diet. Hopefully in the future this translates to more enlightened recommendations and research put forth by the Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics. All right, and that is all for this week. Pam will be back with you with another edition of Video Clips on Tuesday.